Dearest.
Wait.
Not Dearest.
Okay, now Dearest.
Mummy, Dearest. Dearest, gentle listeners, you are listening to the Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the town. We are your effervescent hosts, your neighbourhood-friendly Kiwi, Tash from Middle Earth, New Zealand.
And Patty, Regency romance enthusiast, currently writing her strong, confident, intelligent, independent, and dependable era.
Settle down onto your favourite settee as we delve into the lives of the elite and illustrious ladies, lords, and royalty of the ton. This Bridgerton podcast is two friends talking romance, symbolism, Easter eggs, and R.I.P. Sienna. Deep diving into.
Are you wanting to do opera?
I can't. I can't do that. I try not to go too high because, as it happened with you there, it actually cuts out the voice.
Yeah. Okay.
It's still cut out.
Damn it! It's because I'm loud.
That's why I try to go like hit the no button.
I want to be, because you gotta belt it for opera. You gotta use your whole diaphragm.
I know, but you can't on. We need way more savvy equipment for that.
And I can't do a run. I can't do like deep. I can't do that.
Diving into the connections of our favorite characters, we cover both book, TV series, and notable social media, and therefore will contain spoilers.
Dearest listeners, we pull back up to the pollen table after a brief intermittent to continue our analysis. As we ladies love a good treat, we've chosen to refer to the next 4 scenes as the charcuterie of side story. Lady Patty lovingly refers to this part of episode 5, them, and stop. As she has said this many a time, while fast forwarding from mirror to afterglow. We talk insecurities, revealing scripting, and we spot Lord Anderson pulling a Colin lying in wait for his crush in the park.
Time for pot snacks. What is your...
I didn't see if it's on.
What is your charcuterie of the day, Miss Patty? Lady Patty, sorry.
Okay, my pot snacks...
I was trying to downgrade you there.
What were you called? Miss?
Miss.
I became my own daughter.
No, I meant like you've been down. You've been downgraded to the lower house.
Right. Dundas came and took away my title. Damn it.
Well, I mean, YouTube is really trying to take away our title. For those out there who keep wondering, like, where
they're giving us the cut.
They are giving us the cut. I don't like. This one seems to have gone private
without
3 times. Yeah, so we don't really know why that YouTube keeps taking down or privating our video. So we have to go in and manually. So please, like Sadia has been doing for us and letting us know when it's been going private. If there are any issues, please on Facebook, Messenger, Patreon, like any way that you can message, just pop out a little message and say, hey, this week's podcast has disappeared from YouTube. Can you go in and make it public again? I'm not sure why it keeps happening.
And the only email we've gotten when I dug into it in YouTube studio info, somebody reported a video of, it's the podcast, because that's the only thing that goes private ever. So somebody reported a podcast, and that's fine. Like, you know, we're making it work. It's not killing our views. Our videos are still getting views. Our shorts are still getting views. We just can't recommend videos right now within like where you can click on a next video, you know, on the shorts, like you put in a recommended video and it'll let you click on that one. It's not letting us do that. And that's fine. I'm just asking, like, if something bothers you about our content, you know, reach out to us.
Yeah, super. I mean, it was just a one-off. So, like, I mean, there are trolls out there, and there are
it's the only time it's the only time anything's ever been reported. And YouTube has not told us what the issue is. They just took away some of our privacy. So
they gave us a little smack on the bum.
Yeah, we're in timeout. We're in timeout right now.
Mom, is it time yet?
Yeah, we weren't sent to our rooms with the door shut. We're just in a timeout chair in the living room. We're just in the naughty corner. We're in the naughty corner, yeah. Well, I think we belong there anyways.
That's probably about right. What is your pop snack of the day?
So it's my dinner time, and I just made myself some ham and cheese sandwiches with potato chips on them, which, just so you know, like, I know
what
in the
flavor
UK
potato chip?
And do they call them crisp? You call them crisp, don't you?
No, I call them chips.
Okay. So when I hear crisp, like if I'm reading a book and they're in the UK, or if I'm watching something and they're in the UK and they're getting crisp, I think of these Munchos, which I've shown you the bag before.
Okay.
But this is why. Because it's literally an aerated, light fried potato chip. It's potato. It's not rice. It looks like
Yeah.
a Chinese like shrimp
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, shrimp cocktail. Yeah.
but it's
Shrimp,
not.
yeah, shrimp pop.
It's
Yeah.
potato. But
Okay.
I love these. They're super salty and good, and they're so crunchy. Like when I want
The
crunch,
good
I go for
crunch.
the Munchos. Yep. But I'm putting them on my sandwich.
What
I
flavor though are they? Are
also,
they just salted?
yeah, salty crisp, because they actually say crisp on the bag. That's why when I hear
Okay.
crisps, I think of
Hmm.
these. And then in the wings, I cut myself 2.5 cantaloupe for the. They're in the Tupperware in the fridge, getting chilled,
Yum.
and I have cookie dough. Not gonna eat all of everything,
I'm
but
jealous because
we pod for hours, guys, hours.
that's
Just so
what
you know.
that's what I said to my new student. I was like, we pod for like 6+ hours. I was like, it's a long stint.
Yeah, does she want an internship? She can be our producer and keep us
She
in
does
line.
actually like Bridgerton, and so I said to her, "There's Bridgerton books in your room." She's watched the thing, and because she's on a long road trip, she's like, "Hey, where can I listen to your podcast?" I was like, "That's super." She's an absolute sweetie. Really, really, really enjoying having her as part of the family.
Yeah, we had some restructuring, and my new director, which is the level above my boss, did a meet and greet with me and ended up talking for 20 minutes about Bridgerton and our podcast because she's a Bridgerton fan too. So
Love it. My pod snacks of the day is a iced caramel latte that my dad very lovingly brought over for me this morning, and some Werther's originals because Patty was eating them last week, and I was like, that sounds fantastic. But in New Zealand, we just have the standard flavored ones. So that's that. But
go
unfortunately,
look on
my
your international aisle
that's
and pay
no. No, no,
$25.
no. I check out the international aisle all the time. It does not
Yeah,
exist.
it baffles me that like the good flavors of Pringles are in the international aisle.
For $10 a can, which is like
Mm-hmm.
just so much. Look, if I look it up right now, let's see. Pringle. So our standard flavors is your sour cream and onion, original salt and vinegar, and barbecue. And then in the international section, we've got prawn cocktail this week. No thanks. No, sir.
I don't know if I could do a shrimp cocktail chip. That did
Oh,
not come from America.
okay. So apparently at my supermarket, they've just gotten in Werther's Originals eclair chewy toffees, but that sounds like
Oh,
if I had fillings, I'm sure that they would destroy them. And then we
yeah. I
also
wouldn't. I
have
have a crown on each side. I wouldn't be able to eat them, but that sounds so good.
we also have creamy filled ones, apparently. Caramel cream candies.
Cream filled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they have caramel creams, and the maple creams are just a maple flavored caramel with that cream in them.
Okay. Well, we've got some options for me to get the. I'll add the. What do you think? No, eclairs are going to destroy my teeth. I'll go with the creamy filled.
Mm-hmm.
I like my teeth being in one piece. All right.
And you
And
went so long with them being terrible, getting your
they are
wisdoms out.
still. I was eating my charcuterie board at the gardens yesterday. In New Zealand, it is officially spring, which means there are cherry blossoms everywhere. And yesterday was meant to be gale force winds again as a continuation from the storm from the night before, but the winds actually died down, and so I forced my family to head to the botanical gardens to go cherry blossom hunt because that is my favorite time of year. It
I
makes
love
me
those pictures.
giddy.
And
I
I
was
like
like,
that you included your little student.
she's so sweet though. Like the little photo of her and Ezra is just adorable. I
Mm-hmm.
just messaged her before to let her know that the ice we've in New Zealand, people are obsessed with like real fruit ice cream, which is where you get like the frozen berries and you put it through a machine with like a soft serve, just
Mm-hmm.
vanilla or yogurt or ice cream.
Yeah.
And New Zealanders are obsessed with these. And my favorite one just reopened and it's right across the road from her school. And I've been telling her about it. But obviously, with it being colder weather, they hadn't opened. They sent a message this morning saying, hey, we've reopened for the season. And I'm like, of course. She's just gone on her 10-day trip around the South Island. So I messaged her and said, hey, they've just reopened. As soon as you're back, we're heading for ice cream. Any
All
pod
right.
news?
Luke Newton hurt himself.
He got a boo-boo on his ankle.
He sprained his ankle apparently, so he was not able to do the Saturday evening show yesterday. And people are putting out their thoughts and prayers for his recovery because they want to be supportive of him, because I'm sure the trolls, I don't want to say trolls. I don't want to say, I mean, because I would be disappointed. That is one of the things I said, like how theater works. I would have been so disappointed if, I made this trek to New York, paid for these tickets, and New York is not a cheap place to go visit.
No.
And it not be him. Now, having seen the show, now that, and like I said in the review, this show holds up without Luke. It's a good story. It's a good show. It's great visual. But not knowing that going into it, and my main reason for going was to see him in a project. Like, I can understand their disappointment, but people are coming to his defense, which means to me that somebody out there is complaining, like, I want my money back kind of thing. There's no reason to get defensive if somebody wasn't offensive, right? So somebody complained, somebody said something, and now his whole community loves him. So everybody's like, we hope he feels better, and he was back for today's matinee, according to Di in the chat, because Patty's been rearranging her house and purging and doing stuff in her house. So I've not been in the chats or on social media.
But
so
another piece of information that we got on social media, and now at this moment, this is purely people at the serial killer board connecting the dots, and it's nothing has been confirmed. It is just all conjecture at this point, but there is musings out in the world that Luke Newton may be playing a lead in Mamma Mia 3, where we suspect that he might be playing a young Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan has just started following Luke as soon as they started casting for the third movie, so it's looking pretty likely that he's at least in the running to play a young Pierce Brosnan. I don't remember his character name. You're a Mamma Mia gal, you probably know his character.
I don't remember their name. It's the three dudes.
It's the three dudes. It's Pierce. It's Bond.
Yeah,
it's Bond. You're Bond.
He was the true love of her life. That's all I know. Pierce Brosnan was the true love.
See, I didn't even remember that. For some reason, I thought it was Bridget Jones, Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy, or Colin Firth's character is
Colin
gay.
Firth, thank you. Oh, okay. I haven't. Look, my mum made me go watch this movie when I was 14 years old with her and my auntie, and then they laughed at dildo jokes, and then I got uncomfortable and I never paid attention to it ever again.
So her mother, when she got pregnant with her.
No. On task, Patty.
Well, I'm just going to say that, like, there's a summer where she wrote in her journal about 3 different men. So this girl doesn't know which one is her dad.
Yeah.
But one, over time, he was not out then, he's out now. One was the true love of her life, and the other guy ends up meeting one of her best friends, and they have they like you. So that's the premise.
Okay.
There. See, I did a nutshell.
Bullet point. How are you going to be triggered by bullet points? Okay, now we must make haste into today's episode. Because I'm actually super excited to, there wasn't
you got to do research.
I did get to do research. I got to do flowers research. I got to do research on words. So I get to be a word geek today, which is always exciting for me. And I just love researching flowers. One of the flowers I could not distinguish what it was. So I might need you and your special eyes to go and try figure that out for me. But
you got to tell me so I can cap that.
We'll get there when we get there.
Oh, it's look, I'm on cap that.
It's Portia staring into the mirror. Blue.
There's
the blue flowers in her hair, but I don't know what they are.
Oh, in her hair. Yes. I have something to point out about the flowers on her vanity and the flowers behind her.
But I have flowers are my thing, Patty. I already.
Well, no, mine isn't. I didn't look up meanings. Mine is simply about color.
Okay, I've got color and flower meaning.
Yeah.
Look at you trying to encroach on my thing. I get
that's us watching separately and taking, doing our own notes. Although I didn't actually write down notes for this one. Also, I just watched it over and over yesterday.
We've had people questioning recently, like not questioning, like I sound like interrogating us, but people asking recently whether we have podcast co-hosts, not co-hosts, like people on the pod.
People on, yeah.
Because Patty and I are in two different time zones, it's pretty finicky. Like even with Ainsley Broom, we booked that I think about a month in advance because it is pretty hard to line up timelines. So that is one of the reasons why. And two, Patty and I are tangent queens at the best of times. Adding anyone else into the mix is just a
Well,
lot.
and we've had a few, like Ainsley had to be a two-parter because it went so long. When we've had Kay on to do the music episodes, those are really long.
Yeah.
Like,
but Kay also is not super opinionated. She's pretty chilled out. So like
well,
we
she's
can make that work.
opinionated. She just stays quiet. Like she listens and then throws in like a really good jab at the end. Like she ties it all up.
Yeah.
So
yeah. What I mean is like she gels really well with us because she is like doesn't try to compete with our loudness.
If you also
she just survives
if you
us.
also identify as a tangent queen or king, you probably need to wait until we have an actual producer. If we ever get to that point, because
the episodes that are like 2 hours long, like I literally sit there and I look at the wavelength over the span of the 2 hour thing and I just sigh like, oh, it's gonna be a long day. And speaking of, so for last week's 2 weeks ago recordings at this point, we did another book reading, which was the Portia finding out about the engagement party.
One that keeps going private.
Yeah, so I did actually have to truncate silence the whole thing rather than doing what I did last time and cut because we were expecting a huge storm and they said from 10 p.m. onwards we were anticipating potential power cuts and I only finished, even doing it with the speedier way, I only finished editing at 10:15. So I was like in absolute panic mode. Like I cannot sit and take my time and do this, like to make the flow of the reading go a bit nicer. I just had to slam it out before any potential power cuts hit.
Oh, you did a good.
There's a few parts where it doesn't quite flow the way that we read it as, where, you know, we pause for dramatic effect, but it was fine. Okay, so we are jumping in. So we've just left off at the end of the sex scene between Penelope and Colin for the first time. And then we jump into bed with Kanthony, and Anthony is resting on Kate's belly while she looks forlorn and contemplative. There are so many forlorn looks in this. Like, we only have like a 10-minute snippet that our episode's based on today, which is from I think Kanthony up until like Portia and Varley.
Yeah, Portia and Varley are
cool.
It's yes. Kanthony, then John and Francesca in the park,
and then Kate and Eloise.
And what it's supposed to be is because Benedict is not currently in a sexual relationship yet, they needed a way to show the passage of time. Because if you look at certain scripting and the lighting, you can see the sun is changing, the lighting changes to so that we know that when we see Colin and Penn again, a lot of time has passed.
Yeah,
they are now spent. They did do it more than one time. There was a lot of 5 to 10 minute breaks.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know what it is about this like 10-minute time period. Like Colin and Penn are like having the best time of their lives and everyone else is like in sulky mode.
Well, and I think that's it. Like, this is the season of overcoming your insecurities. And every one of these little scenes, you can see what someone's insecurity is and they're overcoming it. Like even with Kate, the person she's talking about when she voices her insecurity is the person she's telling it to. Yes. So that people are outing themselves and they're being brave and they're saying the vulnerable thing with a person who is their safe space. And that's important because we now have Colin and Penn are on the same page in communication. Aside from,
can we just talk about, I think I may have talked about this in the past, but I want to bring it up again, how in love with the set design I am for this room. So I watched a video when season 3 originally aired. They had a video on the Bridgerton Shondaland website. I'm not sure if it's still there because they do cycle through them fairly often. But it was talking about, like, the set designers talking about how they created and redesigned Anthony's bedroom to merge Anthony and Kate's heritages together. So we've got the Bridgerton blues and silvers, but we've got a lot more like, I think the term is brocading.
Brocade. Yeah.
Brocade?
The like
Brocading?
braided tassely
Yeah,
things.
more
Yeah.
tassely things, more kind of almost like sari looking. I'm sorry, I don't know the technical term for it.
Terminology for
Terminology
their
outside
cloths.
of
Yeah.
brocading. So they've got a lot of this is really beautiful drapery and more Indian
And the
kind of.
bedding is very, very similar to her dress
Yes,
pattern. Yeah.
later in this episode with Eloise. Yes, I also talk about her dress later on, but
It's the same dress.
but we get to see it like when she walks into the room or full
Full
view
when
and
she's
everything.
walking around. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
They have it draped over that bed like perfect though. Like she's
Mm-hmm.
perfectly coiffed in that
Mm-hmm.
dress and he's in his robe in early like they just got home early morning, like this is still morning and he's already like robes off, barefoot, I'm relaxing with my babe.
Yes. So yeah, I love how they've merged their two. It shows me that this is a true partnership. Like I know that it's they just redesign probably for aesthetics and everything, but I love that it shows that they are a true partnership, that it is equal. Like Anthony is willing to go out of his way to make sure that she knows
She
that
feels
this is her
comfortable.
home. Like this is a
Mm-hmm.
merging of their two lives. It's not just him saying, "Hey, I'm gonna mail order bride you in, and then you've just got to conform to my
Oh,
exact kind of way of life." He's like, I'm willing to meet you halfway. And I actually do wonder whether part
that's why they're dressed the way they are.
why is that?
Because you're saying like they're a true partnership. He is changing his space because he was already the Lord. This was already
Hmm.
his room.
Hmm.
He has changed his space so that she would feel at home, so that she would feel more comfortable. Only she is in their safest space in the house, still fully dressed. He has relaxed, he's in his
Hmm.
robe, and that's for us visually to see that
Well,
he feels completely at home. She still feels like there's a little bit of I've said it 40 times today and I'm not going to think of the term now, imposter syndrome. She
yes.
has some imposter syndrome.
So not just that. Okay, so I actually I wrote these notes in the Eloise portion, but I think seeing as we're kind of bringing it up now, I mean we're about to go into this portion where we talk about how we can see that Kate is being a little bit unsure, uneasy, like there's just something not quite sitting right. She's hiding this pregnancy, and
Mhm.
I actually think I figured out why, and it has a lot to do
Well,
with.
and we know from the missing scripting that Anthony believes it's because of Edwina. I did want to
I
bring that up.
I
What a
don't.
barb got that.
I
I
don't think it
mean,
has
just
anything to do with it. I think
I don't
that
either. I don't either. But that was in the original scripting that Anthony thinks
something
that
that
because of
Eloise
Edwina and how that all played out.
something that Eloise says triggered something in me, and I was like, "Hey, that actually makes a lot of sense." Eloise says to, we are skipping scenes here, but it is what it is.
It's the
Eloise,
same. It's this. We're talking about the same scene we're going to talk about though. These four.
yeah.
So
So Eloise says to Kate that everyone is pairing off, and she would rather be riding a metaphorical horse alone. And then I realized Kate is 8 and 20 years old. She's 28 years old. Like I remember getting my first relationship.
27.
I was 27, sorry. I remember, wasn't she 28 in the book?
20, she was 26. And
Okay.
Penn says in Whistledown at the beginning of the season, she was 6 and 20 when she got. So
Okay, yeah,
she's
yeah.
27
Okay.
now.
Yeah. So she's 27 years old, which by those standards was an advanced age. She was very much what they would call a spinster. And what that also kind of means is like I remember being 20 years old and getting into my first relationship and really, really struggling with how to share my space and independence when I had done everything and been so independent for so, I mean, not that 20 years old, but like when all my friends had kind of like grown up with boyfriends and all that kind of thing, like I had always been on my own. I did things as I wanted. I didn't have to be accountable to anyone else. If I wanted to go back to another country, I could. And I think that Kate is kind of coming to terms with the reckoning of I'm now having Lord Bridgerton's child, which means I'm having to give up a whole portion of myself. And I mean, when you get married and have children, it adds so much richness to your life, but it does also take away a portion of your life. And it's okay to feel a little bit of sadness at such a huge change. Not to mention, she's got pregnancy hormones like crashing through her while she's going through this monumentous change because she had decided, she had in her mind made up she was not going to be married. She was going to be a spinster. She was going to be on her own. And so her entire life trajectory had completely changed. And as much as she loves Anthony and is absolutely enraptured with him and more than happy with their life together, I think she's also coming to terms with the fact of this is my life now. This is my home now. Everything that I've ever known, this piss poor way of drinking tea is now my existence.
No, I'm sure she teaches them how to brew tea.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I actually think that
Yes,
this could be the
I have
underlying
some insight
feeling
there too.
I think
Yes,
that she is missing her life.
well, yes and no. I think she loves her life that it has
Yeah.
become. But here, listen to me. Like I'm looking at your face and I can already see it. Like I'm like, listen, Linda, listen. So hear me out. Just 6, 7, 8 months ago, she believed she was going to be a spinster. She was going to be a governess. She spent the entire season having watched Anthony have a checklist for what he wanted out of a wife. Remember, she overheard him.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Pride and Prejudice. Like, I don't know anybody that accomplished, right? He chose Edwina. Even when he had feelings for her, he came out and proposed to Edwina. Because if you look at her face, when he comes out, she thinks he might be proposing to her, but he gets down on one knee with Edwina. So he chose Edwina, which means she checks all the boxes. Kate doesn't believe she's as good as Edwina. She created that separation.
She was the
herself.
understudy.
Yes, because she was not from a titled family. She was not of that. She's inferior birth, basically, is how they said it. So that doesn't go away overnight. A man falls in love with you. He's your Prince Charming. That doesn't mean you all of a sudden feel exactly perfect about the world and about yourself. Though you still got to work through those insecurities. And she's feeling this imposter syndrome. She's keeping Violet in the home. Like, no. We don't need to let her move out yet because she's afraid she's not up to the task, right?
Yeah.
And she says in this, and I'm bringing it up now because this is what triggered this thought in me about her still working through those insecurities of not being good enough. Because she says, I'm really busy. I have to throw the best betrothal party that's ever been thrown, or they will, before they find another Viscountess. Well, we know how titling works. She's not the only Viscountess in the ton. So she doesn't mean Viscountess. She means Viscountess Bridgerton. And the only person that can choose that is the person she's saying that sentence to. He can cast her off, which would, be no bueno. That would be scandalous. But what normally happened in Regency time, she's now currently pregnant. If it's a boy, it's the heir. And we know, we've talked about it before, in Regency times, what happens when an heir is produced? You don't have to pretend anymore. You still go out in public together. Yeah. But he can go off and go back to a Sienna type person. Like, she doesn't know if he's in it for the long haul or if he's just in it for the heir. Because think about the carriage when they came back home and she goes, you need to be thinking pure thoughts. And he's trying to get busy now. And she's like, we can't because Newton's watching.
She's extremely dismissive. She's coming up with excuses as to why they can't. And I think
she's having a little bit of avoidant behavior because she's worried that if she produces an heir, she's going to lose him, and she loves him, and she's not fully secure in his love yet. And I think what does it is India.
That's so I think that this is the reason actually why he goes to India, because she is sitting there and panicking, like, well, not panicking, but like mourning the loss of her home and the fact that as much as she loves Bridgerton House, and yes, she chose this and everything, that it's different. Like, even when I go home to Australia, like, New Zealand is my home now, like 100%. But the sounds and smells and just the air is different. And I go home and immediately you hear the birds everywhere. And yes, the birds in New Zealand, but it's different. The different sounds.
There's different species, yeah.
Yeah, Australia's a lot of parrots, a lot of parakeets, a lot of chirpy, kind of happy. And you wake up in the morning to the sound of birds because they're like happy that the sun is out all the time and they're singing.
It's like when I went out and lived in Colorado for a while. I moved out there in September and I was home by April, end of April. But the next fall was my favorite fall ever. I couldn't tell you a thing I did, but it was so vividly colorful because in Colorado, they have evergreens and aspens, and every aspen turns this pale yellow color. Like there's not oranges and reds and yellows. It's just yellow, just yellow.
Pea color.
So coming back to Ohio, it was like walking into Technicolor.
Yeah, I absolutely love Christchurch in autumn. Like it is spectacular. But yeah, I think it's different. And I think she was mourning and she was just going through the mourning stages at this point. And I think Anthony kind of realizes that. And I think that is why he takes her to India. He realizes the underlying cause of his wife's, I don't want to say sadness, but introversion and insecurities, and realizes, hey, I need to show her that we are a partnership that is equal. And that also means taking the trip over. Like, yes, I have responsibilities here, but now my biggest responsibility, and I actually really respect this in him. We have given him a hard time about leaving all his responsibilities and blah, 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 blah. But I actually really respect him by 2025 standards that he prioritized his wife. That is now his family. He is realizing, hey, my family are actually completely fine. They are super sustainable.
They don't need me like that.
No, they don't need me. My wife needs me right now. She is pregnant. I don't want her to have a negative experience during pregnancy. I need to do this for her while we can. And
right.
I really like that.
And adding in my other sentence, like we all know as women, and for those out there, with Y chromosomes who may also listen to their wives or on their own, if we have male listeners, women get hormonal. Our hormones are never steady. No. And pregnancy, like I've not experienced pregnancy, but I do experience major hormone shifts. But I know I've lived through people's pregnancies, and I know how hormones affect you. And if you're insecure already, you're even more insecure. If you are upset, let's say you had a fight 10 years ago, like you could ruminate on it now because your hormones are going crazy, and you could fight about something that happened 10 years ago because you are so all over the place in your emotions. And I think Anthony finally realizes that, like here where he says, you're happy, right? Like he doesn't understand. She's having to reassure him because he doesn't understand her hormones yet. This is very new. But I think by the time we get to the wedding and he's offering up India, I think he's figured out, like, she's very homesick. All of this is happening. She's at the point where she wants to nest by that time, right? She wants to start nesting, and she doesn't feel fully connected to Bridgerton house. Not that she hasn't integrated herself into the family. She has. She knows the family loves her, but there's still that part of her that doesn't feel like she deserves it yet. So he's trying to show her that it's not about deserving that house or that life. It's them together. Like them going to India is kind of walking away and sacrificing the title and everything, because they could get stuck over there. They could get hurt. They could have a disability come up.
Could be a Tarzan moment.
I mean, so many things could happen, and he's risking all of those just so she understands it's the two of them.
You saw the thing that Tarzan's parents are Elsa and Anna's parents, right?
Yes.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
I love that Anthony's kissing Kate's body with like intention, and like, when your partner is kissing with like a little bit more affection than just affection. And I love how exasperated she is when she says, "We cannot," and he sounds like a whiny child.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? But I love, she says it's because Newton is watching. I love that the camera pans over to Newton. He's like, I ruined your fun. Dog blocks. No. Yeah. Like, he looks so proud of himself.
He looks proud, like, well, and think about all the times that they have shown him running up to the room but being stuck outside the door, and he's like, I'm in the room now, bitch. Yeah. Your sex life has changed.
Welcome
it gets worse.
Welcome to having kids.
Wait till it's me and a baby.
Yeah. So yeah, this is when Kate goes on to say how she was right, that it's not the appropriate time to tell the family about the pregnancy. So interesting terms to describe being pregnant in the 1800s from victorianweb.org is You were caught. You were with interesting condition. You were in the family way, which I think that
Mm-hmm.
meant when you were confined to the house, so you were only around family in the family way.
No, in the family way means you're creating your own
Or
family.
creating your own family. I have the list. One moment. I
Yeah.
I have the bullet point ones, but I also have
Yeah, being in a family way means you are creating a new addition to your family. They always called
vocabulary.
when a woman was stuck at home,
Hmm.
when she was officially too pregnant to be out, it was called entering her confinement. And they treated
Yes.
it like it was a girl going off to college almost. It was like when a dude goes off to Eton, they say it the exact same way, like, oh, he's off to Eton in the fall. She'll be entering her confinement at the end of
Yes.
the month. It's kind of the same thing.
Um,
Like it's a level up of her as a woman because she's about to become a mother.
you could also be described as gone, and then this next one, as in 6 months gone. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh, she's far gone. Like she's lost her beauty. She's far gone now.
Yeah, too far gone is really, it came from pregnancy, but it became meaning.
Yeah. My favorite one of all. Lusty. Lusty referred generally to being full of lust, but was also used to describe those who were stout or corpulent, and by extension, in
Fat.
colloquial use, to those who were pregnant.
Yeah, if you read some historical books, like they think lusty, like
Well,
when
this
I say
is
lusty, you think she wants to do it all the time, but a
yeah,
lot of times they said lusty because she
as a
was
pregnant. Oh,
curvy.
yeah. So, they the reason I've actually quoted this one is because they actually use citations of literature that they have gotten these terms from, or correspondence between like famous, kings and like they've cited
Right.
actual
Letters, stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, actual times in which it was gone. With child, team, teeming or teamful, unwell, ceasing to be unwell. Gravid, the quick or quickening, which is obviously, and now the quickening was when you could actually confirm that you were pregnant, because it was the only time, which is when around 16 to 20 weeks, which is when you can feel the baby start moving. The little kick, pitter patter kicks in your
Mm-hmm.
belly is the quickening. And that was
Yeah.
when doctors could actually physically confirm that you were pregnant through an examination.
Yeah.
And that was when you were allowed to
Without
announce.
having to violate you. Because, like in Queen Charlotte, sometimes
Yes.
they don't wait that long and they
Yeah.
want to know for sure and they will violate you to see if you have a.
Yes. Plead the belly. I plead the fifth, sir. I plead the belly. I mean,
I
that's me.
plead the belly.
That's me after like, Stephen, have you gone to the McDonald's? I plead the
I
belly.
plead the belly. I was just about to say, after I eat almost this whole bag of Munchos, I plead the belly.
The reckoning. Because that's what's going to happen to your body. The reckoning. Your waistline does not exist anymore.
That's because you're pleading the belly. It's
Yeah.
a belly now.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are a few others, but those are the main ones. But
I plead the
plead the
belly.
belly.
I plead the
I'm
belly.
gonna use that. Like, if I fall pregnant again one day, like, my ankles are swollen, or like I've got a craving, I'd be like, I plead the belly. Give me my snacks.
Anytime you have a craving when you're pregnant, you should be pleading the belly. You need to be like, I just saw a TikTok. I want to make it a chicken pot pie Pop Tart. So it's chicken pot pie
Disgusting.
filling. No, chicken pot pie filling in puff pastry. So it's just chicken pot pie, but it's shaped like a Pop Tart. So it's handheld.
Okay. I was like, I thought this was one of those American disgusting situations, like when you put marshmallows on top of sweet potato and then call it a Thanksgiving
Casserole.
meal. Like, what is America?
I hate sweet potato casserole. So thank you for.
I mean, I see how Trump got elected in a country like that.
Whoa! Them's fighting words.
You guys,
First of all,
sorry, team.
First of all, sweet potato casserole somebody had to be very clever to come up with that.
Someone had to be stoned. Let's be real.
You're smoking the peace pipe with the Native Americans,
and you deserve to be stoned for that one.
Let's put marshmallows. Let's put marshmallows on the sweet potatoes. No, really, most desserts come from like Popo, who want something sweet. I mean, that's where we got cinnamon toast. Cinnamon toast was invented because somebody only had bread and cinnamon and sugar. Like, what can I do to cure my sweet tooth right now? you know? I mean, think about it. Cobblers and stuff, it's just mixing up some flour and butter and everything, slap it on top of some fruit and throwing it in the oven. Like, I want my kids to get fruit in their diet. How can I make that happen? I'll add a little sugar and some flour and crisp it up.
Getting back to Kate,
I plead the belly.
I plead the belly. Someone was definitely pleading the belly on that. I mean, it might have been a pregnancy craving. That might have been how this came about. And in which case, I then retract
And
my
now
previous
it's an
comment.
annual thing for all of Americans. Not me. I don't eat it. But for most Americans, it's an annual thing, all because some woman was like, honey, could you put these sugar sweet puff things that we make, these little jelly things on top of the sweet potatoes? That sounds good to me right now.
Very, very few times will I ever accept sweet and savory being mixed together. One of the very few times is a chicken and cranberry pie, and it's chicken cranberry and camembert. So it's like almost a pot pie. You have to try it before you judge it, and I think you would like it because it's not sweet.
Well, yeah, because it's like those where you heat up brie and
Yes.
you put that like cranberry jelly stuff
Yes.
on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's that.
I could
in a
see adding
pot
chicken
pie.
to that and it'd be good. Yeah.
Yes. So because our pies in Australia and New Zealand are not filled with fruit, generally speaking, they are meat. And as someone who only eats chicken, I go for either a chicken cranberry or a butter chicken or chicken mushroom. Chicken mushroom's top tier.
Chicken might be good.
Now I really want to go for a pie.
I'm not a big savory, and I struggle with sweet and salty together, except for I love me a chocolate covered potato.
Never had it.
Oh, I thought I would hate it, but it's so good.
So
you can't taste the chip. It just makes it crunchy. You might as well just have like Rice Krispies in there.
Getting back to Kate, I'm sorry, my tangents today. Sorry, Kate.
All of our tangents have been pretty much about food, though. That's funny.
We
tracks.
are snack queens. So Kate, I love that she's just coming up with reasons why, and they're the most pathetic reasons as to why not to share. Oh, because of Colin Penelope's betrothal and Francesca's courtship with Lord Carmarthen.
And it's all the stuff your mother has to deal with.
But I know, and it's like,
so we don't want to add to her plate.
The wind is a bit southerly today. I think not. I think that
it's not blowing in the correct direction.
I think that Newton's claws might need clipping today. I don't think it's good timing. Like,
I've got to wash my hair, so not today.
I remember my brothers got from me like, I can't stay the night. I have to wash my hair. And Stephen, my brother's like, what does that have to do with anything? She's like, I have to sleep on it right for it to come out right. So she couldn't stay over on hair wash days because she had like curly wavy hair. But I would just thought it was just so funny.
Well, that was like a big excuse used to show stuff from like the 40s and 50s because it wasn't a daily shower, wash your hair every day situation back then because it was only like bathtubs. Not everybody had showers.
Patty.
So
I wash my hair once a week.
Yeah, women only. You're only supposed to. My grandma taught me you only wash your hair, actually wash it maybe twice.
Yeah, it's probably every 5 days for me. That's kind of like, I can go to 7 days, but I will only ever go to 7 days if I'm not leaving his house on those days.
True. Yeah. But my grandma taught me that. And I've had so many hairdressers be like, what are you using on your hair that it's so healthy?
My scalp flakes if I wash it every day. Like it goes
I'm like,
crazy.
literally nothing. I don't do my hair. I don't put in product. I wash my hair once a week. I wear it in a scrunchie most of the time, so you can't tell. But I don't have very greasy hair either. So I luck out there.
I double shampoo because I have such thick.
Same.
I have so much hair that the first one is just to kind of like get through, and then the second one's like a proper lather. How many tangents can I go on today? I'm so sorry, people. Anthony picks up that something. Anthony picks up that something is wrong. Kate also has beautiful hair, might I just say. It's so shiny, like just the actress, her hair,
and the way they've been doing her hair this season, I love it. She had such like a school marm hairdo in season 2.
Yes,
I love how loose it is, and like she's
Simone
so
Ashley,
more like it's a more of a feminine look.
Yeah, they definitely softened her up for the season. Simone Ashley just has like this most like shiny, healthy, like just beautiful thick hair.
Yeah, Simone, you need to reach out to us and tell us what your flaw is, because it's obviously something we can't see.
And she's even a sarcastic queen, and like that just makes someone like 10 times more attractive.
Yeah.
Like, and I
It's
don't think it's just Kate. Like, Kate is very sarcastic, but I think Simone actually is as well. Like, I've seen her in interviews and that I really enjoy her
yeah.
kind of quick wit.
Mm-hmm.
So Anthony finally picks up that something is wrong and asks her if it is truly why she wants to delay their news. He asks her if she is happy, and he looks truly concerned or feared that she maybe is not. Like she confirms, yeah, of course I'm happy, and she kisses him, but then makes an excuse about how busy she is and needs to throw a betrothal party before they nominate someone else as Viscountess. She is using sarcasm as a protecting word.
Armor.
Thank you. That's the one.
There's a
Like,
theme then of armor.
yes, and people like using sarcasm or shyness or like quietness. Like Penelope, her armor is very much in just that she does not share with people. She keeps everything close.
Yep.
Close to herself. Kate is less so. She uses sarcasm and wit, and she focuses on other people to avoid hers. Portia's armor is also keeping all
Holding
of
it
her
in.
feelings in and just
Well,
showing the hard outer shell.
well, and news. I think that, and Penelope learned from her over time, like you can't control the
Mm-hmm.
narrative, you can't control the situation if everybody knows about it. It makes it
Mm-hmm.
harder to tell the story the way you want. And
Mm-hmm.
Penelope is a writer, so she keeps things close to the cuff
Yep.
and only reveals them when she wants because she gets to create the narrative. And her mother's very much the same way.
But
Just
I
like I
really,
think in this scene with the mirror and Varley, that we learn in very few words, we learn a lot about Portia's past.
yes. And
That
going back to Anthony and his checklist, you can understand why Kate is anxious now because like the honeymoon is now over.
mm-hmm.
And so she's worried, well, I've fulfilled my duty. And when is he going to go back to that man that I heard? Because sometimes you just need time to show that their actions and words are consistent with the actions and words are consistent with each other in order to actually feel safe in something. And
Mm-hmm.
Anthony showed her to his friends, not in his safe space, but he showed her a different person. And so I think Kate also has this moment of when is the other shoe going to drop? I never thought I was going to have anything in life, and this just seems too good to be true. And so when is the other shoe going to drop, and when is he going to become the douche squad again? And so I think she's kind of got that little bit of worry in her head. Like, we still had these issues before we got married. We still like butted heads. We still had all these, these differences between us. When are they going to come up?
Well, and I think as you're saying that, it made me think of the lines that were said between him and his friend that she had running through her head the entirety of season 2 and are probably still, because there's one that she's officially fulfilled. Remember, and I think this is why Lord Cho is the one that got married. I think that's why him and Emma got together.
Wed,
for
bread and fed.
Wed, bed, and bread. Yes, wed, bread, and bed.
But I always change it to fed.
Because when he's talking to his friends, Lord Cho says, you just need to find one of these wenches, basically, and get her wed, bed, and bread, and then you can go back to your whatever pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
Basically go back and live your life. She's officially at that point. She's wed, bed, and bread. So
yes.
She's worried that what Lord Cho said is going to be true. So Kate and Penelope are on the same story arc this season. They are both trying to overcome a sentence they heard in a conversation they weren't supposed to hear.
Yeah.
And it has written their narrative of themselves and their worthiness. And they're trying to overcome that by looking at the person who either said or provoked the thing that was said to see if they're going to play that out, that scenario out, or is this going to be something true and real?
Yes. Yeah. Very much that. And so I think it's really endearing to me that Anthony has done the full 360 and has become Anthony, my wife, Bridgerton. And he is like genuinely concerned. Like, am I not making this woman happy? Like, what? I will shout it from the rooftops. I will jump off trees if you want me to. Like, just tell me what you need to be happy and I will do it. You want to go to India? You're missing home? Like, you want a good cup of tea? Let's go. Let's go, babe. Hop on the boat. I'll take you to get a good cup of tea. Like,
yeah.
He really becomes Colin from the books post marriage.
Yeah, which I think they're going to have Colin be the doting dad from the books.
Mm-hmm.
Like that part of Colin, I hope Colin gets to keep some part of his book persona.
As long as we keep Benedict as the doting uncle, all for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Colin was too. Like when he goes in, I'm gonna buy $10 for your daughter, because one can never have
Mm-hmm.
too many dolls. I love that conversation. I mean, although the baby would have had already had to have been born
But
because they did.
I think they're gonna take the my wife. I think every Bridgerton man, his middle name changes to my wife. He finds the
Mm-hmm.
love of his life. I mean, their
Mm-hmm.
dad started that legacy.
Yes, very, very much so. So yeah, that was kind of my interpretation of this scene, was how each of them are coming at this with their own insecurities. So for Anthony, it's wanting to stand up and be the kind of, and that, oh, that was another thing I
Wanting
wanted
to
to bring.
prove that she's the one he
No, no,
actually
no.
wanted, not Edwina.
No, this room is the perfect representation. He had never touched that room. He had left it stock standard the way that his dad had left it, because he
Mm-hmm.
never felt like he could truly step into
He
his dad's
belonged there.
shoes, because he didn't feel worthy of his dad and who he was. But with Kate along his side, he actually feels like he can. Like, and that even kind of goes along with, us moving into this next conversation, which is between Francesca and John, and how she says, my brother, like, I'm pretty sure that my pianoforte was the reason why he moved out to bachelor lodgings. And then, John asks, is he back now? But and she says, yeah, he's back, because he's got this beautiful wife and they're sickly sweet together. But that scene reminded me about the fact that Anthony had moved out and basically left that room untouched because he did not feel worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And the second that he gets married to Kate, he's like, I'm beginning to feel worthy of I want to be the man. I don't want to be that douche squad who has a list of what a perfect wife is. I want to create a family with this woman. I want to build a life together, and that means merging our lives together, not forcing her into mine. And that's why he redecorated I mean, granted, it would have been her who did the decorations, or maybe even Violet as a welcome home present, but I love that he finally was able to touch the room and make it his own, because he finally feels like he is.
Well, he never.
He
That
feels like
room
the
was
dad of
never
the.
his.
No, it was his dad's.
It was his dad's, and now it's ours. Like, I
Yes.
don't think. I don't think
Oh,
he
but
ever could
Newton's
be
not
in that
ours.
room.
Newton is yours. No, our
Yeah,
dog.
Newton is. You mean your dog?
That thing ruining my life right now.
He's
Yeah.
probably like, we got a big enough house. Like, Newton needs his own room.
Okay, so on that note, let's move on to Francesca and John scrolling. Scrolling.
Doom scrolling the promenade.
Okay, so I actually posted this in the Bridgerton page yesterday. I haven't even looked on my Facebook today whether or not they accepted this post or not. They just accepted it. Okay,
Yeah.
what okay. Let's see. I said, okay, so I was writing notes for our Bridgerton podcast and realized I have no idea what John and Francesca's couple name is. I tried Googling. I came up blank and I was like, help me out, Hive. What is their couple name? Fron, Johnesca, Frannon? Like, there is no good name for it. No wonder Julia offed him. No good couple.
Like, that's how you know.
Out you go. Out you go.
Well,
Someone said Jan. It just doesn't. There's no good
no,
one.
because her name is Francesca.
Yeah. So like Fron, Johnesca, or Frannon, which is Fran on.
I like Johnesca. Johnesca's good.
I like Johnesca, but there's no clear, like, Diamond is so iconic, Diamond of the Century, Diamond of the Century. She was the Diamond of the Century. Diamond, Kanthony,
Yeah,
Pollen,
Kanthony,
like,
Pollen.
they're so iconic.
So what is it with Michaela? Francala?
I would say so.
I mean, Philoise is great.
Mikeska. She sounds like a Russian
Mikeska?
doll.
Mikeska.
Someone said, I mean, she used him to get away from her loud, overstimulating household and then immediately fell in love with his cousin. Do they really get a couple name?
Say the name of that commenter, because that's
Sarah Mer. Thank you so much for that.
you ever thought we talked about. No, but first of all, I want to point out, we know from the engagement party that Lord Anderson gets invited because they happened to run into each other out promenading the other day.
Mhm.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
This was no happenstance.
You
okay?
are a magician, by the way, because I went through and I had to go. I was like looking, and I was actively looking, and I did not see him until I was like, oh, I was at the dog.
Because his back is to you.
I was at the dog. Oh, it must have already happened. And so I had to scroll back and be like, okay, the dog's just been, he must be nearby. And then I was like, oh, wait, is that him? And then he turns around. I'm like, oh.
Like his back is to you. And you can
Yeah.
see he sees something and he makes his goodbye and then he turns. You only see the side of his face briefly. So Lord Anderson was at the park waiting for Violet, hoping to see Violet, and he made a beeline for her. And I will point out too that when you see John and Francesca talking and behind them, Violet is chaperoning, but she is not paying attention. She is looking also. She's looking around.
She is like scanning and
she's scanning and looking disappointed. Like, and she gives some rando the cut so bad.
Yes.
Like, so she's walking, these people, we don't know them. They're just random faces. No, nobody important that I can tell. But they walk up and the dude nods to her and she immediately turns.
I think one of them was Weatherby, not in this person that you're talking about, but the only person that I think I recognized was Weatherby.
Yeah, well, this person was with the lady, which Weatherby could have been. And I didn't take it as being Weatherby, but it was, and no, because he had a walrusy kind of.
No. It's a blonde dude.
Yeah. His mustache went, it was like the chops, the walrus mustache,
the handlebar.
into the chops, handlebar. But it goes all the way up his cheekbone.
Yeah, handlebars.
No, connected.
Oh,
it's a mustache that goes down to the sides of the chin and then up, curves up to the cheekbone. Yeah, all the way to the ear.
When men can't contour, so they use beards.
Right. Your face is getting fat, so let's do something with that beard.
Gets the coal and stuff.
But I don't think she was giving him the cut because of anything about him necessarily, but she's looking for someone, and she actively gave someone the cut. Like, they kind of do this second look at her and she looks away. And I was like, that's totally like, when you're hyper focused on something and you're just not paying attention to how rude you are.
Oh, you know what? I do it all the time to people. People are like, oh, I waved at you. And I'm like, did I see you? And they were like, you were looking in my direction. I'm like, but did I see you?
Doesn't mean anything.
I am blind as a bat. Like more like blind, like is it mole or a badger? Like
blind as a bat. We say blind as a bat.
Yeah.
And moles are blind too.
Yeah, I'm like, I am substantially blind. Like, just because I was looking in your direction does not mean that I was looking at you or saw you.
Well, and I was interviewing at my job the first day of in office this week, and I'm sitting there waiting for the hiring manager to come because I don't know where he is in the office. I work from home. So the receptionist told me to sit and wait. She was going to message him. And one of the employees that I scheduled for walked in, and like, I nodded to her. She said hi to me and I nodded to her, but I was in the zone. I'm getting ready to go, meet somebody I've never met in my company and, interview. So like a couple days later, she's talking to me and she goes, I said hi to you the other day. Like, I nodded, like I acknowledged that. I could not carry on a conversation at that point to save my life, though.
I had no spoon.
Like, because I'm not trying to tell everybody and their brother that I'm applying to other jobs in the company. You know what I mean? Like, because I ended up, they went with someone else, promoted up somebody in that department, which is, I'd probably do the same thing because I was coming from a totally different department. Yeah. Just don't announce that stuff to people. And I was focused on that. So like, I nodded to her. I acknowledged she said hi to me.
So Violet was in bloom and was not wanting to deal with a pesky grasshopper in her garden.
Violet was not ready to be social with just anyone.
Jump away,
she
bug.
had her social.
Jump away. I'm looking for a pollinator here.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to let my crush see me talking to another guy.
Yeah. So Francesca is rather animatedly telling John about her childhood falling in love with the pianoforte. Now, she seems extremely at ease and very excited, and I love that John's just like in his quiet listening mode, but still really enjoying her company. Now, the way that she's talking about her family is with fondness for the person who just said she wanted to get away from her overbearing, loud, exuberant family. She is talking about her family with extreme fondness in this point. You can tell that she like clearly loves them. She clearly enjoyed kind of bantering with them. Like, she does have banter. And she was saying, even though she's saying Anthony hit her piano stool and like, that was a mean thing. Like, he was so sick of listening to like 6 a.m. getting up, playing the pianoforte, practicing the pianoforte,
Mhm.
and Anthony hit the stool, you can still tell that she is recalling this memory with fondness. Like,
Well,
it wasn't something cruel, like he was playing a joke on his little
no.
sister.
Right. And here's my perspective. And I think that Hannah Dodd, we don't know her notes. We don't know what
Mm,
she went into this deciding about Francesca, but I think she chose to play her as autistic. And this scene tells me that one, she's talking about her special interests. So
mhm,
even though they're supposed to be getting to know each other and they're supposed to be deciding if they're compatible as humans, she is rattling on about her special interests and he's just listening, right?
mhm.
She also is doing a lot of the mannerisms that
Yes,
come with autism.
stimming,
She's talking loudly. Her voice is very kind of monotone.
animated. She
But listen, she has that what's it called? Like I'm trying to think of the words she said. Like it's not like people with autism when they're talking about their special interests, they have inflection and they have animation, but their voice still comes out kind of the same tone, and
mhm,
they get louder more than they change the notes of their voice.
mhm.
So she like what is the
It's the
line she
loudest that
said?
I've ever seen her be.
Yes, she was very loud, and she said so mad at myself, I'm not going to think of the word she said, the way she said it, kind of like being obsessed, like how she would say I'm obsessed, but it was a different word. But she talks about her family lovingly, but she also, in that one story, she says she felt like she annoyed Daphne. It
Yes.
was Daphne's piano lesson and she was taking it over.
Hmm.
She said she felt like she didn't say these words out loud, but the way she told the story, the way the narrative happened, she annoyed her mother because she wanted to be part of the lessons. She got up to practice at 6 a.m. and therefore annoyed her brother. And we find out later she annoyed Eloise. So Francesca not feeling like she belongs in her family, she feels like the way she is annoys them. And as somebody who grew up undiagnosed, neurodivergent, I very much have that. I felt like
Anyone who has ever
everything.
experienced a sibling learning an instrument, that sibling can be your best friend in the world, and you will still want to burn their house down with them in it. Like,
Yes, but this
vibes.
isn't just learning an instrument. This is something she's obsessed with.
Yeah,
And
but
think
as a
about it.
6-year-old, you're gonna be terrible.
Yes, but and that's she's telling this story. I annoyed Daphne. I annoyed my mother. I annoyed my brother. I even think he moved out because of me.
Hmm.
And what we know of Francesca's past in the last two seasons, she goes to Aunt Winnie for piano lessons, but she goes and stays with her for months at a time.
Yeah.
So I think Francesca doesn't necessarily feel like she doesn't belong with the Bridgertons. I think she feels like the way she is
But
annoys
but
them.
you even
And
hear like when she goes to Aunt Winnie's and they say, oh, she's gone to Aunt Winnie's, and I can't remember which sibling. Maybe Eloise says, oh, but she will miss out on, or actually it could have been Hyacinth. She will miss out on this thing.
well, yeah,
So they
it's
do
not
miss her. They like having her around.
her feeling like she annoyed them doesn't mean she actually did though.
Yeah.
That's her perception
Yeah.
of her hyper focuses, her special interests, and her being the way she is, not following their social cues and their
Yes.
social preferences. She has felt like she annoys them. So she removes herself as much as possible so that they don't have to be annoyed for a while, right?
Yeah.
But with John just wants to sit in her presence, and it quietly made her feel seen and not annoying. The
What
reason
was
she loves
what was
John is because she doesn't feel annoying.
what was interesting to me though is that in the book, Michael was always there. They were essentially raised as brothers. They were in the house together. They did everything
Mm-hmm.
together. They were raised as brothers in that household. In the TV series, John says, "Well, that sounds much better than having my valets."
Valet, being awakened by his valet. That's his.
Yes,
That's
sorry.
his. His lady's maid is a
Oh, okay, a valid. I
Male
was
lady's maid is their valet. Yeah.
Okay, so being awakened by my valet. So like he's basically saying I've been alone my whole life. So I'm like, well, that's like a disconnect
He's
to
saying
me.
he's been
That's
alone since he's been the Lord.
Oh, I thought he meant as his childhood, but it was also interesting that Francesca.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have had a valet until he became the Lord.
But it's also interesting that Francesca gives no, well, not gives, she asks no follow-up questions. What was your childhood like? What was your
No,
family
they
upbringing
wrote,
like? Like they had
she
all
is
this,
written so autistic.
but they had this opportunity to bring up Michaela before she came onto screen. But I know that they were saving that as like a big reveal thing.
Big reveal. Yeah.
If he had said my cousin Michaela in the first half. Oh, this is the second half anyway.
But and
But
the
like,
thing is, like autistic people connecting, and this is this is kind of a generalization, but it's very much how how I connect. We tend to relate with stories we have when you bring something up. But a lot of, autistic people are not super, I don't want to say they're not super curious. They'll think it through more than ask a bunch of questions because we've been raised. I don't want to say we've been raised this way, but our experience, a general overarching experience for a lot of undiagnosed autistic people, which would be Francesca, because this was not a thing back then, is that we are different than everyone else in our family, and we are annoying. Not unwanted per se, but we annoy people and we are too much. We need to give ourselves in small doses because people can't handle us at
and
our
look at us now.
biggest.
An hour and a half, 2 hour podcasts of people dealing with big chunks of us.
Big chunks, lots of tangents. Yeah. But the thing is we're talking with each other and we're really like, we're just recording it. We thank everyone for going along for the ride, but we're not putting anyone through it. We're recording it. And if they want to listen, they can. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't the only person who's putting up with my bigness is you, and you're just as big as me. So it works.
Thanks for being big with me.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me be the biggest me I can be. I'm the damn balloon. An episode.
Okay, so Francesca quips that she is sure that her piano playing is the reason that Anthony moved into his bachelor lodging. And John then asks if he is back home now, and Francesca says yes, and how almost nauseating he is being so in love with his wife. I love how she then follows up with almost nauseating. Like, she wants to say that they're gross, but she absolutely loves seeing her brother soften and be so in love with his wife. Especially, I think that Francesca notices a lot more than the others because they're all in their own little world. Yeah. And as much as she's not asking follow-up questions with John, she is observant.
She's observant.
And so I think she's watched Anthony struggle. The others saw the struggle as him being bossy or obstinate or like, I'm the man of the house, like, you must do what I say, rah, rah, rah. But I think that she saw it for the facade that it was and is now like super in love with watching her brother be in love. Like, you can tell how much joy that brings her.
And I also think that's an etiquette thing because she would have gone through the same schooling as Daphne and Eloise and everything else. You are trying to get a man to propose to you. So you don't want to disparage marriage at all. So her saying it's nauseating, she's probably like, whoops, I need to scale that back a little bit. Well, almost.
I love that John then segues and he's like, I'm gonna take this opportunity, seeing as you brought up, I brought up, but I'm gonna pretend
brought
you
it
brought
up. Yeah.
And he's like, on this tangent, want to get married? No. He's like, he brings up whether she would be nauseated by the thought of marriage herself. And Francesca immediately picks up on the implication that John is making. I love that he phrased it this way. Like, well, will it be nauseating? Like, will you be nauseated by yourself if you happen to be married just to someone? Check yes for no. Circle yes.
Married someone. Not me. Someone.
No, I'm just saying. And though John is like
asking for a friend.
Another king of consent here, because I love that although John is such a stickler for tradition, he is also using this as a sneaky way to give Francesca the choice to say no, because if he asks Anthony or Violet for his or her blessing, like it's almost forcing her into it. So he wants to make sure in a sneaky way, hey, you up for this?
Yes, he wants her to be comfortable. And that's the thing I love about John. And I'm glad they introduced us to him because, like I said, we only got the memories of John. We didn't get actual John.
John is so much more considerate than what people give him credit for.
Yes. And And what I loved here too, because I think he understands that she is autistic and that she struggles with social situations.
Like
So
Six
he
Flags.
asked his question because he was insecure. He wasn't sure if that's what she wanted. He knew that's what her family was putting her
Mhm.
out there for because of her age. And he knew she was running out and trying to get quiet time at the ball.
Yes.
So he wanted to make sure her goals aligned with his. But in the end, when she says, I just hope my husband doesn't steal my piano stool, and he leans in and goes, I wouldn't dream
Wouldn't
of
dream
it.
of it.
He's
Oh!
reassuring her. He's being so obvious for her because he understands she may not get the subtlety.
But I love the cheeky little kind of smile that like the smirk. I wouldn't dream of it. Like this was
Mm-hmm.
his. This was his. You've said yes, you are mine.
And I just want to point out, John wears, I mean, he's pretty trendy. Everybody's wearing that ruffle at the top of their shirt kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing this season. But this, he went fancy. This
He
ruffle
did.
is like crimp, like it's more, there's more of the ruffle than in other scenes.
Yes.
Like he definitely peacocked himself
It
for
kind of
this walk.
reminds me a little bit of Nigel Berbrook when he's like, I wore my satin breeches for this. Like when
I
girls
wore my fancy ruffle.
when girls are like, I need to get my nails done just in case it's the moment. He's like, let me put on my fancy ruffles.
Yeah. He's like, I want her, let me, because this is their first time out promenading. And, he doesn't want to have to keep doing, he likes this. It's still public, but it's still more private than a ball. And I think he's ready to get to the point where they're not having to go to balls anymore. Because from the time they announced they're getting married until the end of the season, like they barely attend anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Francesca looks like extremely giddy and pleased by this. And although I wasn't entirely sold on them as a couple at the start, I didn't like the whole them sitting weirdly next to each other, like in complete silence mode. Not because you can't enjoy silence, but I think that you need to get to some base level of knowing each other to then be comfortable in your silence together. You can't just sit next to each other in silence, be like, yeah, this is my person, because there is a million other people that you could sit there in silence with and that not be your person. You do sort of have to get to know someone to some base level and find that comfort level together. You can't just be like, you like silence, I like silence, yeah, let's get married. So I wasn't entirely sold on it to start with, but I think they have
But I
started
think that's like introverted love at first sight, first sight. Like, and with her, like she's an extra sensitive person, so she feels the vibe. Like
I
she knew his
know.
vibe was good.
I still like, I can see Violet's reservation. I can see why she's walking behind them looking sort of displeased by this, because she's like, come on, daughter, like ask questions. What is it like? Is this man a serial killer? Does he like to eat children for breakfast? Like, come on, find out his middle name at least, like something about him. Is it Cheerios or Fruit Loops kind of a guy? So yeah, I can see why Violet had her reservations to start with, but I think once they start bonding, I then think that Violet has just gotten stuck in this first judgment mode and isn't really giving him a fair chance. Because I actually think that they're like, from this scene onwards, I find them really cute together. I do think that they need
Yes.
pushing, they both need pushing out of their comfort. So I think that John's mum, who is at least a little bit more mum like than Francesca, as in like she also likes the quiet and is a bit more reserved, but I think she will kind of push Francesca a little bit more than just John, if that makes any sense. With Kate and Eloise. Eloise is sitting at the table in the drawing room, looking rather melancholy. Well, Kate bustles into the room, followed by the house staff, as she begins planning the engagement party, and Kate actually seems to be rather enjoying the task of planning the event and excitedly reminds them to make extra cinnamon biscuits for Gregory. I think she's really cute here, and she actually seems excited to know that that is his favorite biscuit, which tells me that whilst on honeymoon, Kate quizzed Anthony on bits of information about each sibling, because
Yeah.
this is like clearly from the next scene. This isn't current information, and it's just, I mean, though, to be fair, the whole eating the whole plate of biscuits and vomiting kind of thing might have happened while on their honeymoon, but it seems like it was maybe a little bit of time ago. But I really like that she's like, oh,
It was
and Gregory.
No, it probably was recent when he hurt his arm.
True.
I bet you like Benedict's probably hanging out with him, messing
Now
with
that
him,
now that
like,
I'm the
oh,
lord
you
of the
think
house,
that-
I'm gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
How many bones can I break before
I bet
Anthony
he
comes
was
back and
like-
protects you?
He's like, oh, mom keeps giving me all these cinnamon biscuits because I hurt my arm. Yay. And he's like, I dare you to eat that whole plate right now. She'll bring you more.
Yeah, so I do actually think that she has kind of quizzed on the honeymoon, quizzed her husband about his siblings. Because obviously, although she would have spent a little bit of time with the likes of maybe Eloise and Colin and Benedict at the events, maybe less so Eloise, but I think that she obviously has no knowledge of the likes of like Francesca and that who she isn't really bonded with because they were away when she came onto the scene. And then Hyacinth and Gregory, who were too young. What was the response?
Please cut. It's like PM.
Yeah, reroute. So this is the point in which Kate turns and immediately sees that Eloise is upset and politely dismisses Mrs. That's a lot of thank God I don't have a speech impediment because that's a lot of S's. Politely dismisses Mrs. Wilson to go and talk to her. I absolutely love Kate's outfit here. We talked about this earlier. It's the Bridgerton blue over the bodice, close to her heart, then more deeply a royal blue, midnight blue in the kind of sari fashion. I think it's a beautiful melding of her two halves, kind of like we said with the bedroom. And it actually matches her bedroom perfectly, like with the lighter blues, the silvers, and then the darker blues. I love that she has the Bridgerton blues, as I said, like over her heart, because that's now her heart. But then she's also incorporated her culture into her background and blended those two worlds together perfectly.
Yes. And what I love here is, again, we don't know it yet, but this is a mirror scene to another scene in the season. And I just want to point out here, because we've been talking about Eloise this whole season, learning what it means to be a good friend and having to come out of herself, out of her own existence to learn a little empathy for others.
Yes.
And honestly, this scene right here, because we know she looked up to Kate in season 2. Kate was going to be a spinster. She had chosen the spinster life. And now she's not. Now she's married. And I think that's part of why Eloise says, like, everybody pairs off, like, because she looked up to Kate, right? So, and she's not ready for that. And that also tells me, for everybody that stand, Eloise and Theo, that even when he came in to kiss her, she wanted him to think nice things about her, but she was not thinking marriage at all.
No,
courtship,
she still
anything like that.
To be just Eloise, not Eloise and Theo. She chose, I do not want to have to decide with someone else. I am Eloise. I will decide for myself.
Yeah. And I think that she entertained that much like her brothers entertained their outside the ton activities as something she could do. It's kind of like, going and trying to buy beer before you're of age, the kind of things that are scandalous because you're not old enough, or, there's a little bit of legality issues to it. Like, I didn't buy it. A person legally bought it. I'm just choosing to consume it. Right. Like, everybody goes through that, or trying to get into an R-rated movie before you're 17 and stuff like that. So I think that she wanted to have that little bit of life experience that she could feel rebellious doing, but she wasn't thinking marriage mart, getting married, any of that. And it wasn't until he tried to kiss her that she was like, oh, I made a mess of this. But in this moment,
I love how in the US you can get married, but you can't watch a scary. It's just a little too scary.
Right.
Under the age of 18, like, where are you?
Hell, in some states you can get married and you can't go see E.T. Whatever's PG-13. I mean, come on.
It's just, some of the laws are just wild to me. Priority.
There's no reason that the minimum age for marriage should be 10 years old ever anywhere.
I thought you had a bunch of states in which there is no minimum.
There's like 6 states where there's no minimum at all. But when there are a few states that their minimum is 10 or 12.
Okay. I need to know.
You're like, okay.
Because it winds me up. Something fierce. Kate tells Eloise that she needed a reprieve from her planning, a way to get a way to connect with Eloise without Eloise going on the offense. And I actually think that Kate is actually very good at managing people and blending herself into whatever that person needs her to be. With Anthony, she is strong, she is sarcastic, but she's also like soft and gentle with him. Like she has both sides depending on, where they're at, who they're with, whatever the mood. And then like when she's with Violet, she's very maternal and very like gentle. When she's with Lady Danbury, she's a little bit stronger. She's very hard-headed. Like,
Snarkier. Yeah.
yes. So she is actually very much like a social chameleon, and kind of blends into whatever that person needs or whatever she thinks that person is going to respond best to.
Yes. And I think that with Eloise, she owns her intelligence because she says, I need a respite from planning our entertainment. And she goes, you seem to be good at it. And she's like, oh, I am.
Yeah, I love
like,
that.
She
she's
just owns it.
Like, just because I'm good at it doesn't mean it's not exhausting, But
Yeah.
I love that Kate kind of goes straight in for the kill because she's like, look, I've done my niceties and now we're going to get to the point because Eloise is not a small talk kind of a person.
No.
So she goes straight in for the kill and asks Eloise if her mind is on Penelope. I love that she is the only person who actually directly just tackles the elephant in the room. Like, she just says, hey, this is about Penelope. Everyone else is like, oh, what has you all for, Lord? Like, no one talks straight in the friendship.
Her mother still has not talked to her about her rift with Penelope.
No, and
it's been
wild to me.
Months.
Wild to me. And I do wonder whether they were saving it for Kate so that we could see that Kate building that relationship with the siblings, but it's still just like really like we needed acknowledgement of it. And it's really weird that Kate is the only person who has actively acknowledged it. And I do wonder whether that is part of, because we know that each Bridgerton sibling goes through their own, I don't fit into the family, I'm different from them, like this thing annoys the fam, like I annoyed the family with this thing about me. And I wonder whether everyone's like, hey, it's just Eloise being dramatic again. Like, they're just, Penelope said that women can get married. Like, oh, she's just said something like off color that Eloise didn't like, and they've got a little rift, but it's nothing important. I think that's kind of what they're like. Oh, this is just typical Eloise behavior and it's not actually important. So we'll just ignore it till Eloise gets over herself. Whereas Kate's like, hey, this actually seems like something and I'm going to check in.
Yes. I also think that other people, because Penelope is an honorary Bridgerton, she is basically part of the family. I think that the family assumes that their relationship will just repair on its own because they do. They're mad forever and then they just decide they don't want to be mad anymore and then they're just not mad anymore. And I think they assume that this is going to happen with Penelope also because they don't know the why behind it. Yeah. So this conversation with Kate and Kate cutting to the chase tells me that I really do think Kate knows that Penelope's whistle down because I'm pretty sure she does at the wedding, the way she does the look just like Danbury. Mm-hmm. And I think she knows why Eloise and Penelope are not speaking. Mm-hmm. So it just shows how astute she is and whatever. But I think that they did want to play up Kate mothering the family, much like Violet.
Yes.
But I also think that we see Eloise grow from this moment forward. And I think she's chosen to, she didn't want to be like Daphne, right?
Yes.
But she had already wanted to be like Kate. She wanted to be like Kate in season 2.
And Lady Danbury.
And I think she is emulating Kate in the conversation with Colin after Colin and Penn's wedding, when she comes in and finds him at the very same table. That's their chess table.
Yes.
Very same table, also staring at a wall. Well, they had the table by where she was staring out a window, but the piano and the table swap by the time Colin sits in it because they're preparing for
Eloise is like, I'm
wedding.
over here playing chess and everyone else is playing couples tennis. Like, we're playing 2 different games here.
Right.
I just want to play one-sided chess.
I just want to play chess with myself. Like no one else.
No one else is as good as me.
Yeah. They haven't invented computers yet where I can play the computer. But I think that she emulates Kate and she studies Kate to understand how Kate relates to people, because how she relates to people changes. It changes from this point on. Like, she's still
a visitor.
Hello.
You wanted some mummy. That's okay.
Well, he doesn't feel good. So
how are your eyes? That's okay.
That's very good.
Okay. On my bedside table, there's the little wipe that Daddy's been using. Can you go get those wipes off my bed table to bubble? no, I'm not going to do that.
No, I'm not doing that. I just told you they don't hurt. He goes, I'm on to you, Mom. I'm on to you. But I think that we see that Kate is a good influence for Eloise.
Yes. So I think
And
that like oh my hair. Oh, yes. So Eloise in this moment, like she says a line that kind of gives us a lot of the two main underlying things that she's feeling. And she says, I'm not entirely surprised that she kept a secret from me. This is not the first time that she has done so. But Colin, and then goes on to rant about how everyone is pairing off while she would prefer to be metaphorically riding alone. I love how she has to add in that little like, but not really, just metaphorically. I don't much like.
I don't like horses.
I don't much care for horses. Like, don't get carried away. I'm not riding horses with you. Like, we're not bonding over horses here. We're bonding over.
I know, she just cuts her off. Like, I like that you're smart. Okay, yeah. I'm not riding horses with you.
Yeah. It was just a really funny like she's like, oh, can't let her get away with this one. We're not going horseback riding together. Like, this is not going to be.
She ain't waking me up at no 5:30 a.m. to get on a horse.
You didn't mean to. I think that there's two halves to kind of Eloise's statement here about. Firstly, that she's feeling betrayed by Penelope. Penelope keeping secrets from her that she thinks she ought to know. I don't know how much of it is truly my brother, how much of it is like gross, that's my brother. Like, I think it's because Eloise is still quite immature, and to her, like, although she had feelings for Theo, I think they were very, very emotional feelings and not physical feelings. And she's like, my brother, like, gross, like he's got cooties. Like, she's still kind of a little bit in that mindset to me.
I think she was interested in Theo's mind,
yes,
and the way he thought and the attention he was giving her.
But then when she tried to make it physical, she was like, I wasn't
right.
So I think
she was not about that life.
She was not about that life, or at least not yet. So I think there's kind of multi parts to this, multifaceted. And so I think part of it was Colin. Like, that's my brother, like, and you're like my sister. So, like, that's a bit, like, because she thinks of Penelope as a sister, in her mind, that's weird.
Penelope should think that way too. Yes.
Yes, because no one can think any other way than the way that I think. I have no idea what that is, and I have no idea. Can we not destroy Daddy Sinks? Because I don't know what. And it does specifically says warranty removed, warranty void if removed. No, stop. It's control 4. Let's not touch this. This controls all the lights in our house. Okay, so
I like how his 4-year-old self was trying to mansplain you there for a second. Like he knew what it was.
And then I think the other part of it is, secondly, that she just feels betrayed for for Penelope keeping a secret from her. She's like, well, I told her about Theo. Why would she not tell me about Colin? Like, she had feelings for him. Why didn't she tell me? Like, why am I being blindsided by this? And I think that's the thing, is I think Eloise can cope with things when she knows that they're coming and expected. All right, our guest star has taken a brief intermittence with his bupper. Hopefully we can get through this podcast before he makes his reappearance. Okay, so part 1.
Hurry up during intermission.
Part 1 was Colin, really? Part 2 was the secret. And then part 3 is, why is everyone pairing off when you could choose to be single? Being single is so good. Why would everyone not choose this? Like, she cannot fathom the benefits outweighing the cons of being married. And like, there are cons to being married, but they're not cons when it's the right person.
Well, they're not there's still cons. You have to always take someone into consideration when you're making a decision. But when it's someone you love, when it's the right person, you want to consider them. So it kind of offset. But
and I think sorry, go.
I'm going to
had you.
I feel it. It's coming. But this is the real sentence. Like, if you describe Josephine March in one sentence, that is the sentence from Little Women, where she basically says the same thing. Like, I don't understand why everybody wants to grow up and get married,
Peter Pan syndrome.
It's not a Peter Pan thing. It's not about staying young. It's not understanding. Well, like you said, you were free to do what you wanted when you wanted, and you really didn't. It's not that you didn't couple up because you didn't do, but you understood the transition into coupling made it hard because it wasn't just about you anymore. You
Well,
had to take other people.
I wasn't willing to do it
Yeah.
unless they were worth doing it for. And so when I did finally like force myself into dating someone because it was what was expected of me, I was like, this sucks. I don't like this
Yeah.
at all. And then he was like, hey, like, I didn't think you like me. And I'm like, I think I do.
Like,
Like,
I'm not.
society says I should. Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Society.
Sorry, Lewis. It was just the
society.
Scottish accent.
Society's telling you that you need to do something because you something
Mhm.
is really the thing that kills. I think if we all waited until we were actually ready
Mhm.
and stuck by the person that we knew, like when you know deep down in your bones that this is the person, because this was my whole thing. Like I didn't date or anything in high school, but when I found my person, I knew it was my person. But because it wasn't going on the timeline society thought it should, then everybody's like, you need to settle. You need to lower your standard. They don't want you. If they wanted you, you'd be married already. You'd be this already. You'd be that already.
Yeah.
And then you walk away from the person that you know is your person and you try and do what society and everyone says, by this age, you should be married. You should already have a couple of kids right now. Your biological clock is ticking. You need to have a baby yesterday. And you end up overlooking a lot of red flags at that point just to be in the situation society says you should be and then it ends up not going at all
like for me,
society said it would. Like I feel like it was a bait and switch.
My worst, like if someone were to pick, like allow me to pick like a best outcome and a worst outcome for Eloise, a 1000% a worst outcome would be married to a Nigel Berbrook or a even worse, a Lord Danbury, who your intelligence will never ever be rated in your entire life.
Yeah.
Every single good idea that you've ever had has been taken by a man.
Yep.
You've got to hide your intelligence your entire life and just pray for the day that they die where you finally get to live your life as you wish. Like, yes, it ended up...
Eloise with the Nigel Berbrook or a Fife or whatever would be Portia.
No.
Portia is clever.
No.
Portia is smart.
No. Eloise is on the run because she murdered them and buried them in the backyard.
Lady Whistledown becomes Mayfair Society snapped.
Yeah. But I do love that.
Or Hyacinth starts the first 48 hours CSI true crime
podcast.
We read Lady Whistledown, then we're reading Hyacinth's true crime column.
And it's funny because everyone's reading Lady Whistledown and it's Penelope, and then everyone's reading this like true crime paper and it's Hyacinth, but about Eloise, and you're all in the same household.
These pamphlets, like this family, don't they have anything else to do?
How much paper are they using? Like they need to start planting some trees.
They're like the freaking Kardashians. They got their hands in everything,
just with less big tan. And it would be Anthony in the swimming pool. I lost my diamond earring. All right, so I love that Kate picks up on the underlying, like, kind of main theme of what she thinks is upsetting Eloise. And she says about how important family is and how important it is for her to talk to Colin about this directly. I love that she doesn't say, go talk to Penelope, because she knows that Eloise is not ready to be talking to Penelope, but the other half of that coin is Colin. Colin also kept this from her. Eloise and Colin had multiple conversations. She isn't trying to find a husband in you. No, of course not. Like, he denied it, even though he was actively pursuing Penelope. So he is the one who actively but a lie of omission. He was lying to himself at that point, so I don't blame him for it.
But Penelope, in all those years she had a crush on Colin, Eloise can chalk that up to, it's my brother.
Yeah.
She wasn't pursuing him, so she didn't think it could happen. Like, Eloise can write off why Penelope kept it a secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Colin actively lied to her face.
Mm-hmm.
When he said, I'm merely trying to help her find one,
yes.
Ball-face lie.
Yes. And although she's not saying it, like, Eloise always works in roundabout ways because that's the way that her mother has taught her to be. So she also kind of thinks about it in roundabout ways sometimes. And I think that Kate kind of picked up on the truth there, that she was upset with Colin. Penelope, I expected this from.
I think Yeah, I think Kate was understanding that she is upset with Penelope and she knows she has to repair with Penelope, but she's giving the speech about family is everything. You need
Hmm.
to talk to Colin and tell him how you feel.
Yeah.
But she's thinking insert Penelope in those spaces also,
Yes, but I
because
think
Penelope is about to be your family and you've had a closer relationship with her like family for all these years. I think she kind of pulled a Violet there. Like she's having one conversation, but it's
I
it's
think by
advice
talking I
in
think by
general.
talking to Colin, she knows that Colin will say, "Hey, I fell in love with her. Like I didn't intend it."
Mm-hmm.
Like she knows how it's going to play out with Colin. And so she knows by having that conversation with Colin, it will also start the tendrils of repair
Yes.
with Penelope.
Oh yeah,
So it
I
was
think she was
she
astute
played
enough.
Eloise.
She played her. Yeah, she chose the correct path because Penelope is still a huge betrayal wound, and she knows that Eloise will want to forgive Colin because they are friends. So to go to him first, she will listen,
Yeah.
whereas she will not listen to Penelope.
Yeah. So this is kind of ironic that she says there is no better feeling than the truth. Like you need to get your feelings out on the table. You need to talk to Colin about them. But the irony is that she's also looking down at her belly, looking unhappy about herself not feeling ready to tell the family. And she knows that it's the right thing to do, but she just the second that she tells everyone that she's pregnant, it's real. And she is and I think that's why that line
And
about
what
the
I
writing
took for that
alone.
moment, what I took in that moment, her looking down at her belly when she said, "There's nothing better than truth." I think just like Penelope later, I think Kate realizes where she wants to keep it to herself, but now she's openly asking her husband to lie to his family,
Yes.
and
For
that
her
she
own
doesn't
sake.
like.
Yes.
She doesn't like how that feels.
No, because she's asking him to put her above his family when it directly pertains to them. Because, like, for the likes of Benedict, this could mean the difference between him being the second or not. Which is super
Mm-hmm.
ironic because for those who watch the Apothecary Diaries as well, I know that we've got, I think, two specific listeners who have said that they also watch. There are so many crossovers between, like, the exact same scenario where Gingy is also obviously pretending not to be who he is. He is Benedict. And just waiting for one of the princesses to have a baby so that he is no longer the spare.
Yeah.
And he also can't marry the girl that he wants because he is the prince, so he can't marry a commoner. Is the whole it's same. But he's gonna pull a Benedict and he's gonna make it happen. It's actually really, really funny how similar Apothecary Diaries is to Bridgerton, but based in China in the ye old times. I don't know when. It's a Japanese anime, but it's based in China. Tang Dynasty does not tell me a year. 15th century. Okay. A wee bit before. Just up in. Okay, so I don't think we actually have time
Hold
because
on.
we're
Wait. Ow, the battery is yelling. Christ, it's a bird.
all right. We're at the 2 hour mark, so I think we're going to wrap this up by talking about how Eloise both changes the subject but also throws her sister a bone by informing her that Gregory now hates cinnamon biscuits after Benedict dared him to eat a whole plate and he threw them up. He likes fruit jellies now, which is just adorable. Like I could like I'm just thinking of like the little jelly cups, like these little fruit jellies. Like
I'm
I like
thinking of the thumbprint cookies with the jelly in the center.
okay, that makes sense. So it's like Eloise wants to repay the kindness and kind of attempt a connection by helping Kate to bond with Gregory. Because the way that they hold hands while Eloise says thank you, like genuinely from her heart, like a thank you, like Eloise sometimes struggles to connect with other people, and I think that this was a real
Yeah.
moment of connection where she felt seen and heard, and the fact that Kate was able to pick up the underlying context of what Eloise was saying without Eloise having to explicitly say it, and Kate still picked it up. I think she felt so seen in that moment, and she's like, okay, I want to give you something back to help you then connect with Gregory.
Yes, and I think that because of Eloise's hesitation, because you see her hesitate for a
Yeah.
moment before she's like, I need to tell you he's off of cinnamon biscuits. I think that is a common theme, and it usually is in families with a lot of siblings, like pranks get played. And we already know also that Edmund was a
She sort
prankster.
of wanted to see him gag a little.
But I think that's normally what the family does. Like, and it is also possible if this story happened a million years ago of him puking on the cinnamon biscuits Anthony could have possibly told his wife that Gregory liked cinnamon biscuits just so they would be served and he could watch Gregory's face.
Yeah.
And that's just how this family comes off to me. Like they prank
Mm-hmm.
each other, they tease each other lovingly. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're the opposite of the Featheringtons. They still tease, but it's always loving.
Yeah.
That I think because
It's in jest.
Anthony is he's back in his authentic era. I think he's playing the prankster, especially on Gregory, who is
Mhm.
also a prankster. And I think Eloise was forming an alliance with Kate in that moment. Like, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to let you feel embarrassed for causing something that everyone else would have found funny.
Yes.
But I know you would have been mortified. Like she's showing Kate that she sees her too. She understands her insecurity of taking over this role.
Yes. Yeah, I very much agree. So the last bit that we just do not have time to fit in today is a Vali and Portia scene, but I hoping that you'd be willing to go from this next scene, like we start with that scene and then segue into kind of a Portia analysis.
I think that scene could be by itself and we analyze Portia because we learn a lot about what we think her past is.
A lot.
From that scene.
I
and
have
her
so many
relationship
notes.
with Barley. Really.
Yes. I have because there's a lot. Like I have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bullet points. Someone in your life would not appreciate what my bullet points actually are because they're actually sentences, not bullet points at all. The paragraph.
That's what I should start just putting a bullet point at the beginning of every paragraph.
All I do. It's literally all I do.
I did what you said.
I put the bullet point in. It's basically my full stop. Okay. For today, gentle listeners, we will leave it there and continue on next week's episode. If you have anything in particular you would like us to cover or any Bridgerton knowledge you would like to share, please head to our Facebook page, The Ladies Bridgerton. And if you are enjoying our podcast, please remember to click like, subscribe, comment wherever you are listening.
Yeah, watch our videos.
Hey, Purple.
Hey, Purple.
Hey, Purple.
And thank you once again for listening to the musings of two mad, busy, tangenty women.
Yours truly. She remembers that she's touched the kiwi today.
And the dramatic Lady Patty.
To 1,000,000,000,000,000,000.
900 trillion times more dramatic.